You're listening to the B-Minus podcast. On today's show, 2 Flash episode recaps, first reaction to MLB The Show 16, and sports hot takes. The B-Minus podcast starts right now. Hello, no one, and welcome back to the B-Minus podcast, the slightly above average podcast of opinions, reviews, previews, and randomness about sports, movies, TV, and video games related to the week or weekend that was. I am the B and B-Minus. My name is Brett, and welcome to the B-Minus podcast. Let's have some fun. On today's show, I'm going to recap the last 2 episodes of the Flash TV show on the CW. Episode titles were Trajectory and Flashback. I will have a first reaction review of MLB The Show 16 that came out this past Tuesday. But first, I've had a week to think about my podcast. I recorded last week and posted last week's podcast review of Batman v Superman. Check that out. And I had to go into what my normal podcast would sound like, and I thought that, starting off these Friday podcasts, I wanted to talk about some of my hot takes on sports. Everybody likes hot takes, radio, podcast. This is a podcast, so let's give some sports hot takes. I'm gonna, talk about some trending topics that happened in the world of sports this week, and a couple of the big things that happened this week were D'Angelo Russell's bro code violation, but I'm going to speak about that after I talk about the United States women's soccer team asking for more money. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than them just asking for more money. They are comparative to the men's national soccer team in the United States. They're getting paid much less, and that is a team that on the women's side, that is a team that is so successful. They grab the attention of the country every time there's a Women's World Cup. During the Olympics, I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch their Olympic matches. They are so successful. You see people like Carly Lloyd in commercials. You see Alex Morgan on commercials. Hope Solo's been out there, whether she's been a negative figure in the spotlight or she's been a positive figure in the spotlight. They're out there. They're stars now. And the fact that they are getting paid less speaks to the way that people think about this country and the pay rates and equality issues that this country has. Because in a lot of workplaces, women have the struggle of making less than men, and it's obviously unfair. I'm not giving a controversial opinion here. I don't think that it's right that they make less. I'm not going to say that it's right they make less. In all honesty, in this specific case, the women should probably make more than the men, because the men, all they do is get the hopes up. They hire a flashy new coach, whether it's Klinsman or Bruce Arenas back in the day. And I don't think the men in the United States have done anything to deserve the amount of money that they make. Now, do I know all of the details? No. Have I only heard really one side of the argument? Yes, and that was this morning on Mike and Mike when they had the lawyer representing 5 of the women on the soccer team filing this grievance. I don't know the United States Soccer Federation side of this. All I know is what I heard this morning on the radio, and it sounds simple. It sounds like they're making less. It's illegal for them to be making less based on the pay rates of both the men's and the women's team, and it should be fixed. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a long legal procedure going about this, and I don't know what the final results will be, but I do know my opinion is that these women do a lot for this country, for women's athletics, for women in general in this country, and the fact that they're bringing this into public attention, the fact that I'm talking about it, the fact that other people are talking about other radio shows, ESPN, everybody's talking about it. The fact that it's in the forefront is good for women in athletics, and it's good for women in the workplace as they fight for equality. As the 23-year-old man that I am not the expert to speak on this. I just know that I wouldn't want to feel the way they feel if it was flipped and women always made more than men, if that was the way things were. And I don't know how extreme it is in certain cases in other workplaces. I don't know when or if it will get fixed. I don't know if it is even as big a problem as people say it is. I just know that it shouldn't be a problem, and nobody should be discriminated against in that way. As Forrest Gump would say. That's all I got to say about that. I have a little bit more to say about D'Angelo Russell and how he violated the bro code. So for those who don't know, who may not have heard, D'Angelo Russell is a rookie guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. He recorded his teammate, Nick Young, on his phone. And D'Angelo Russell, while recording Nick Young on his phone, was asking him questions about women that he would possibly hook up with. And Nick Young was answering these questions truthfully, or so we think truthfully. And that wouldn't be too big of a problem. It would be a little scandalous, but it wouldn't be too big of a problem if Nick Young wasn't engaged. I almost said married. They're not married. If Nick Young wasn't engaged to Australian rapper Iggy Azalea. So everybody knew this about Nick Young, and this video came out. And the first thing that people did was point a finger at Nick Young and say, "Nick Young, you're a terrible person for talking this way while being engaged." Nope. The first thing they did was point a finger at D'Angelo Russell and say, "How dare you throw your teammate under the bus like that?" Now, to a certain extent, do I agree? Sure. I'm close with certain people. I played sports. I was close with teammates. If they told me something, would I go out and tell other people about it? Not right away. Were there people I was closer with that I didn't play sports with that I would tell? Maybe. Probably. Yeah, I would tell somebody. Would I record somebody secretly on my phone and then share it to the public? No, that's definitely not going to happen. But for all the people who are saying D'Angelo Russell will never get past this, that people are never going to forgive him, who needs to forgive him? He didn't do anything to anybody besides Nick Young. And the people that should get the brunt of this, I shouldn't say people, because I don't want to include D'Angelo Russell in this. Yeah, he deserves a little bit of flack, but not as much as he's getting. Nick Young deserves all of the flack that he's not getting. It's funny how many former NBA players are saying that what goes on in the locker room, what goes on between your teammates, stays between your teammates. Yeah, I get it, but does that really hold true when I'm sure there are many, many, many people in his life and other NBA players' life and other professional sports players' lives that are closer to them than his teammates? D'Angelo Russell's 20. He's just out of college. He's probably had maybe one serious relationship in his life. Never been engaged, probably. He might not know the ramifications of exposing an engaged person's personal life. But during those 20 years that D'Angelo Russell's been alive, he's probably grown a lot more personal relationships than his one-year relationship with Nick Young. So what probably happened? He probably took this video, told Nick Young he took this video, because apparently he said it at the end of the video. He took the video, told him, and Nick Young didn't tell him to delete it because he's like, oh, who are you going to tell, man? You're not going to do anything with this. And D'Angelo Russell showed this video to somebody he was close with. The video ended up either coming off of his phone or it either went off of his phone to a friend's phone or off of his phone to somebody who would post it on Twitter or post it to some website where it would get all the hits that it got. And I cannot understand why a 20-year-old rookie's career is in jeopardy, where his teammates can't trust him, and even possible future teammates can't trust him because he did one thing to a guy who was being unfaithful in a relationship that he said he would be faithful in. I don't get it. I don't expect to get it. I wasn't an NBA player. I don't plan on being an NBA player, at least. I think my prime is past. But I do know that people who are unfaithful in relationships will most likely be uncovered at one point. So if it wasn't D'Angelo Russell uncovering it now, Nick Young would have been found out eventually. And who knows the other side of that relationship? Who knows what Iggy Azalea is doing when Nick Young's not around her? Not to make any accusatory claims there. I think that my hot take on this is done. D'Angelo's good in my book. Did he go about it wrong? Yeah. But Nick Young is more wrong. And we should be talking more about that than about some dude who recorded a video and posted it somewhere, whether on accident or on purpose. That was some good hot takes, I think, if I do say so myself. I think I'm going to move on to one of, if not my favorite video game franchise, MLB The Show. MLB The Show 16 came out on Tuesday. I was waiting impatiently on Tuesday for my Amazon package to arrive with the game. It showed up pretty late as to when I was expecting it, towards the end of the day. But I got on it. I started playing it. I jumped right into Road to the Show. And it's fantastic still. They made a few small updates. A few tweaks here and there to gameplay. But the biggest update by far in the Road to the Show mode is they eliminated a lot of loading screens. And the MLB The Show loading screens were killer if you wanted to play Road to the Show and advance your player 6, 10, 15 years into his career. I don't know if I've ever gotten past maybe 4 years into a player's career, going back to MLB The Show 11. It's hard to stay persistent in that game and advance a Road to the Show player's career. But now you can skip from a defensive opportunity right to your at-bat, right to the next at-bat without going to any loading screens, without going to the game simulation screen where you see the players circling the bases and taking their bats and other things like that. And if you're playing a series of games against the same team in the same arena, you can just go right to the next game without having to exit the game, load screen, and then start the next game, more load screen, and then you're playing the next game. You just jump right to the next game, and it's a great addition to Road to the Show to make things quicker and easier for players to just play a ton of games at a time. I also tried the new Diamond Dynasty mode, Battle Royale, and this was a game game mode that I was really excited to play once I saw them posting videos and I saw their Twitch stream showcasing Battle Royale mode on Diamond Dynasty. And it's a game mode that I think fantasy baseball players would like. I think it's a game mode that online players would like. It doesn't take a lot of their show currency, which is stubs, You have to earn 1,500 stubs to play in Battle Royale. And once you lose twice, you're out. You got to get 1,500 stubs again and keep playing. But it doesn't take a lot of that. 1,500 you can make pretty quickly, I think, as long as you play different modes and different things like that. And you don't need to be the big card collector that Diamond Dynasty really likes. You don't have to have a wide variety of cards because you draft a team based on cards that they give you. So what happens in that mode is you have one diamond player pick, 2 gold player picks, 8 silver picks, 13 bronze picks, and a common pick. Obviously, your diamond players are your best. You'll get like Mike Trout, Clayton Kershaw, some throwback, like a throwback A-Rod player from the Mariners or the Rangers when he was taking steroids. You'll get legendary players like one time I think I got Phil Necro, Knuckleballer. You'll get guys like Nolan Ryan in the diamond. The gold players are usually the current, stars of the game that aren't your Bryce Harpers or Mike Trouts. It's like Anthony Rizzo's a gold, Chris Bryant's a gold. I'm a Cubs fan, so those are the first two I'm going to pull up. I think guys like Yadier Molina's a gold, and so on and so forth. You understand the concept. The silver picks are a little more in the actually back to the gold picks. Gold picks will also have a few more legendary players that weren't like your super Hall of Fame players. I think there's a Cliff Floyd card that's when he was on the Marlins. That's an 87 overall. I think it qualifies for the gold card. There are a few other throwback players I think that will qualify for the gold picks. The silver picks are a little bit more average from your like low 80s to high 70s, and then your bronze picks are the depth guys, the guys that aren't superstars, but they still make a team pretty good as far as your bench. Maybe I use a lot of those bronze picks on like 4th, 5th starter and bullpen, just because I can get by with a bullpen that's pretty average. I have one good guy in my bullpen. I'm pretty set. And then you have the one common pick who's going to be most likely like a backup catcher or some kind of bench guy or possibly another bullpen guy. Just depends on the cards that they give you during the common pick. And it's nice to get that one out of the way and move on to the guys that you really want to focus on picking. And then it's a fun thing. We all like fantasy drafts. It's a fun thing to kind of draft a team every time you play that mode. It's something new, and it's a cool style game that they've created. And you can blast through those games pretty quickly too. You got to find an online matchup, and then you play a 3-inning game. 3-inning games are super, super exciting. I played one where I think I hit a home run in the 2nd inning or something like that, and then the dude just like conceded because he's like, oh, you got 1 run, so it's over. There was another game where I got a run in the 1st inning. I'm like, I'm all set through 3 innings, and then I blew it by giving up a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 3rd inning, which would essentially be the bottom of the 9th. I lost. That was kind of a buzzkill, but that's what happens in 3-inning games. One run leads will do you a lot, but it's also super pressure-filled too. Those are really the 2 modes that I got into playing Road to the Show and Battle Royale. So far, I'm sure I'm going to start a franchise mode with the Cubs because, the Cubs are awesome. I'm going to create some more Road to the Show characters. I'm going to play some more Diamond Dynasty. I want to get into that Conquest mode. It looks a lot like Risk, the board game, but with baseball. I want to build my Diamond Dynasty team a lot more. I'll probably play a season fantasy draft mode because that was one of my favorite things to do with the show 15 is fantasy draft a team and then see how good I could create that team with trades. It was kind of ridiculous how good some of the teams were. I think maybe they tried to fix that, but maybe I could also take advantage of that again. We'll find that out. But I'm only like 3 or so days into the show 16, and I can't get enough of it. I'm going to probably jump onto Twitch and play some more of it once I'm done recording this. So look for me, and I'll pump the Twitch channel later, but it's twitch.tv/B_MLB_, and I spell minus with a 1 instead of an I. check me out, twitch.tv/B_minus. Check it out. And now I think, well, I've been waiting to talk about this. I hope everybody's been waiting to listen to this. I'm going to recap the last couple episodes of The Flash TV show. I think I'm going to do this every Friday. I'm going to recap the Flash TV show that happens until the end of the series, and then I'll have a season finale, season 2 finale, recap heavy episode, the Friday that their season finale comes to air. But I missed last week's because I was reviewing Batman vs. Superman, and this week I'll catch up. So I'm going to talk about The Flash, season 2, episode 16, I believe. The title is Trajectory. Wow, I can't talk. That's a hard word to say, though. The episode was getting us back after about a 4-week break off of The Flash. You could tell it knew it was bringing us back because a lot of references to stuff that happened before they took a break. They felt they needed to catch us up on it. They needed to talk again about Velocity 9. They needed to tell us that Jay was killed again by Zoom. That's his name. And at the end of the episode, we got some more vibe action from Cisco, where he was vibing off of who we think is Jay Garrick's helmet. He was vibing off of it, and he vibed to reveal to them, which we already found out after I think it was the King Shark episode. King Shark episode revealed Zoom to be who we think is Jay Garrick. We don't know exactly who he is, but that's who we know him to be so far. And now the Team Flash knows that Zoom is Jay. But let's backtrack about the Trajectory storyline first with Velocity 9. I think that if the Velocity 9 story is going to continue on that show, we need to understand more about who has taken it, if Zoom has taken it, if it really does kill people, because I forget the character's name, but she is Trajectory. I forget her human name, but when she took it, she disintegrated. Is that just because she wasn't a speedster to begin with? And if a speedster takes it, things happen at a more slow progress? Or is that what we're meant to believe because we don't know what to and what to not believe out of the then Jay Garrick's mouth when he said that he took Velocity 9 and it's slowly killing him? We don't know. But what I will say is it was cool to get, Barry back into action, taking on a speedster, and it was a good episode to kind of show us that Barry's not confident right now. He got his ass kind of handed to him by Zoom on Earth 2, like he usually does when Zoom and Barry face off. Trajectory was a lot faster than he was, and it was kind of getting to him. You could see he was getting angry, and he just wanted to end things. He wanted to take Velocity 9 to just be faster than everybody. It was kind of an ego thing for Barry, and it's cool to see the show take him into being a more human character instead of, hey, he's the Flash, he can handle anything. No, he's a person, and he has an ego. He has flaws. He gets angry. He wants to be able to solve everything, when sometimes he just has to handle the fact that he can't. And the awesome development at the very end when Cisco reveals that Jay Zoom is how pissed Barry got. Because we don't see Barry get mad often. He's a goofy character. He's a calm character for the most part. He can be a little bit of a quick thinker in a bad sense type of character. But when he got mad, and then they kind of just transitioned that well at the very beginning of the next episode, which was flashback. When you see Barry mad, he's just trying to figure out, I need to get faster. I'm mad. I need to get faster because I trusted these people and they're faster than me, and I trusted the wrong people, and now I can't let that happen again. It's cool to see Barry kind of develop in that way. But as flashback showed us, and that's a smooth transition into the next episode that I saw, in the episode flashback, you can see that his anger and his desire to never let anybody double cross him or get the better of him again, he's going to make a lot of bad decisions, and I think the decision for him to travel back in time was a terrible decision, but a great decision for the show writers, because in a lot of superhero shows, I never feel the threat. But right when I knew Barry was going to go back in time, I knew there was a threat there. Because the old Harrison Wells, who was Eobard Thawne, it was so smart that I didn't think there was any chance that he wouldn't realize it was a different Barry. And I was right. I was feeling nervous for Barry and not sure what the future would hold once I knew that Thawne had figured him out. What ended up happening is still kind of a mystery. The time demon, whatever, the Harry Potter reference was pretty funny, but Time Wraith, that's what it is. Hey, look at that, my brain worked again. The Time Wraith was a cool villain to kind of introduce that, hey, your time traveling not only could have an effect on you in the future, but it will have an effect on you if this time wraith gets you while you're time traveling. The one thing that I did say about the end of this episode was that there's no way Hartley, the Pied Piper, changing into being an ally of Team Flash was the only thing that changed in the future as a result of Barry's traveling back in time, because when he went back in time, he didn't really do much. He was there to get more ideas on how to run faster, and he got a flash drive from Thawne. That was about it. I mean, I really didn't think much happened in the past besides that. It was a lot. I was filled with tension, though. I did not think Barry was going to make it out of that as smoothly as he did. But I still think there are more consequences to come that we haven't found out yet. At first, I thought that Earth 2 Wells was going to turn around and reveal himself to be Reverse Flash. Didn't happen, and it was confirmed that Iris was still looking at pictures of Eddie, sad about the fact that he died. So Eddie still died, which caused the Reverse Flash to disintegrate. It still happened, but something else is going to reveal itself happening that is bad for Team Flash because Barry went back in time. So those, my Flash recaps, they're going to be pretty quick because the more I talk about it, the more I'll ramble and the more I'll get wrong. But I think that'll do it for this episode. That'll do it for this episode of the B-Minus Podcast. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining. This podcast is going to go out twice a week, starting next week. I said I was going to do it this past week, but some things held me up on Monday. Couldn't record and post on Monday. It was too busy of a day for me. Sorry about that. But moving forward, unless there's another conflict, Mondays and Fridays, be ready for it. And this Monday is going to be a fun show. Because what's on Sunday? WrestleMania 32. I don't watch a lot of wrestling. I watch the big, but they're not really pay-per-views anymore because you can go to the WWE Network, which technically you still pay for, but it's not like those boxing or MMA events. I will tune in to big pay-per-views, and obviously WrestleMania is the biggest of the big events in WWE. There's some good matchups there. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. I know Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose in a street fight or something like that. Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the title. Little Little Kalisto versus the big guy, Ryback, for the U.S. title. I think there's a 7-man ladder match for the Intercontinental, which ladder matches are always fun. Somebody's going to get dropped on a ladder. And the big one, the fight that, I think WWE's counting on, unless they have some more surprises for us, the fight that they're counting on is The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon in Hell in a Cell. Shane's been doing some cool things since he came back. That should be a fun match. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully, some exciting moments. Hopefully, some surprises that we're not expecting. I've been wanting a Seth Rollins return at WrestleMania for a while now, but who knows if it'll happen. I don't know how his injury's holding up. I don't know what his deal looks like. And John Cena's the same way. He could return during WrestleMania from his injury. Who knows? They got a couple guys that would be exciting for him to come back on WrestleMania. I also forgot that the tag team title, my boys at the New Day, fighting against the League of Nations. I don't know how that match is going to go because each team could have 3 guys if they wanted to, because the League of Nations has 4 dudes and the New Day has 3, but it's probably just going to be a 2-on-2 where Kofi and Big E fight because we all need Xavier to play his trombone. It's awesome. But, yeah, WrestleMania should be pretty fun. Once again, shameless plug for my Twitch stream. Twitch.tv/B_MLB. That's, once again, minus is spelled with a 1 instead of an I. I'm going to say that every time until I get more followers. I've been streaming MLB The Show almost every day. I got a PlayStation camera on me. I got the microphone. So jump into the chat. Hey, we'll talk. We'll have some fun. Make sure you rate, like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff that lets me know what you liked about the show. And hey, if you didn't like the show, tell me what you didn't like about the show. If you're polite about it, I'll see what I can do to change it. If you're going to troll, I don't listen to trolls. Follow me on Twitter at B_MINUS_podcast. Minus with a 1 instead of an I. I've been Brett. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. I'm out.